Leading cobalt companies on the ASX are up between 20 and 140% over the month, as we've seen the commodity cobalt rise only 4%. We're looking at the top 6 cobalt miners on the ASX because this is Finder Market Points, where we connect the leading market themes and the top performing companies for better trading. You can like the video to support the channel, click subscribe for updates, and comment below to let us know which cobalt miners you're trading and why. When we have a look at the cobalt miners, what we want to do is have a look at that commodity price to get a good reference point to see how the performance of the companies has moved in reference to the cobalt price, which you can see on screen here. That is showing that it's been coming down. We've been coming down from May, April. It's been on the nose, falling down, but it has actually flicked up. We've got the averages here because it doesn't trade like a share price itself with highs and lows that we will see in the candles in a moment. But we do see the moving averages giving us a tell for how it's moved. For context, the Aussie market is up 3.52%, as you can see on the table to the right. And then ACDC, which is the battery technology ETF on the ASX, has been consistently grinding higher. It does cover more than cobalt, but it does give us an idea of how those battery minerals have been moving on the ASX, up 5.6% over the month. Now, when we jump in and have a look at the miners on the ASX and the cobalt, we see that Australian Mines AUZ is coming at number 6. They're up 20% over the last month. You can see a lower liquidity company with rapid rises, drifting back for a basing pattern throughout October, November, December, and then a rapid rise once again January, drifting back once more for a bit of a base, and then what we do see bringing it into 6th place has been that recent flick up. It's peaking sort of 15th of June at 2.9 cents, but then has been drifting back down. So this company does have a foot in the cobalt, nickel, scanadium projects that they have in Eastern Australia. So we do know that they do want to be focusing here. We can see on their website, they're powering supply to support the electric vehicle revolution. That's what they're working towards. They're also working on the solar side of things, so the foundations for a new era of clean energy innovation. Obviously, the batteries that are used in EVs can also be used in the storage. This is what the company's working on, and their projects are on the eastern seaboard. We do want to see number 5, so we move back over to have a look at the charts, and we do see number 5 is Platina Resources PGM, not Platinum Group Metals, but the actual ticker itself, PGM. Platina Resources up 24.95%. They have been moving out of that lows that they did see in March, a good flick up throughout April, pulled back, and then another rally throughout May, and then a tighter and lower range within June. That is a volatility contraction pattern in itself, but the fundamentals don't really stack up. There is a tutorial on how to trade VCBs, but this is turning into somewhat of a symmetrical triangle. We will see how that plays out for this company that has been selling their assets to focus on the gold and Western Australian project. So those other assets include scanadium, cobalt, and platinum, nickel, zinc, and palladium. So that's what they have been doing to focus on their gold. As you can see here, they describe themselves as going for gold for their Xanadu gold project in Western Australia. But as they've been selling those assets, getting rid of them, they do have a function or exposure to the commodity price itself, which has been cobalt that we're focusing on now. We come into 4th position, which is Queensland Pacific. And this is QPM, a company we've seen many times before. It has been a leader, and you can see on the chart, there's a little question why. Strong rally in October, massive rally in January, high tight flag breakout after that consolidation. We'll zoom in here to have a quick look because this is a phenomenal pattern when you do see it. You want to see that rapid rise, preferably within 2 months or 8 weeks. So we're seeing it going from 3.5 cents over 7 cents, gets just shy of 8, so we're at 7.9, comes into a consolidation period, so it does pull back, but as you see down in the bottom here, we've got decent volume on the rise up. Then it does consolidate, drifting down, but somewhat maintaining a bit of a floor around this 6 cents, as you see, 6 cents range. As you see, it tightens up. It does go for more than 2 weeks, which is what we want to see. A bit shorter for an IPO, but this is not an IPO. And then we do see it consolidate and then break out with the volume. So you do see this final candle here, 18th of February, good shot back up over 7, breaking that downtrend line, breaking out of the congestion, sort of that B swing highs, 6.1 cents, B wave, and then breaking out and shooting up. Only gives 3 days before it peaks over and goes 100% rise, which is what we're looking for in a high and tight flag. Click on the link below for a greater in-depth description of how to trade that. But as we move on, we do see it continues to rally, consolidates sideways, and then pops once again sideways, and then keeps grinding north as we have been seeing, breaking that critical 10-cent range and trading up above it after a bit of a trading halt that we saw earlier this month. That's Queensland Pacific QPM, 26.57% for the battery minerals company QPM, formerly Pure Minerals Limited. They're the Australian exploration company that's focused on the exploration and development of next generation battery minerals, including manganese, lithium, tantalum, and its projects are primarily in Western Australia. So they do have that exposure in those minerals as well. Then we move over to number 5, Enegex. So we do want to see, this is Queensland Pacific, as we've looked at many times before. This is how they describe themselves: nickel sulfide, cobalt sulfite. That's what they're working on, the tech project in New Caledonia. So that's QPM, we have seen many times before. Then we have a look at Enegex. So Enegex is a much lower capitalisation company. We're going to see that on the chart. ENX is their ticker. Enegex, 30.75% gain over the month. Now Enegex, battery minerals once more. There's southwest terrain. So the initiative that they're focusing on there is nickel, copper, PGE, platinum group elements projects, and the Heart project, which is nickel, copper, cobalt, platinum group elements as well. You can see a good strong rise throughout March. Did try a high and tight flag, but it fell more than 50% of that flagpole, which is a bit of a failure, but it is looking to set up another one here, provided it can hold above sort of the 16-cent range and churn one sideways, a bit like QPM did. That could be a great trade on a high and tight flag or a power play if you're looking from the Mark Minervini perspective. That's ENX being number 3. When we come over to number 2 and number 1 for the month, we're seeing Torrens Mining up 46%, and the two of them are running off the back of the same news because they've got a joint venture together. So we're looking at number 1 here, COD, get rid of COID, COD being the top performer for the month. They're up 142%. So you can see Torrens, good strong movement out of March once again, and then a good shot up throughout June. And we're looking at these announcements 9th, 10th of June, and we've got them over here for COD to have a look at the timing of this coming through. And we'll bring that on screen in a second after we have a look at the COD chart. That you can see same movement here, same project pushing. This is COD we're looking for, which is not coming up. Iris is not responding, which is not helpful right now. There's COD shooting out, massive rally on the June news, and then at the same time TRN, we do see that they shot up on the same news as well. So we're going to jump over and have a look at this news announcement, which is from Coda, but it works for both companies. I see Coda Minerals Limited in conjunction with its joint venture partner Torrens Mining, which is number 2 for the month, 46%, is a listed gold and copper company, is pleased to announce its preliminary results from drill hole number there, the first deep diamond drill hole designed in its Emmie Bluff Deeps IOCG target in Elizabeth Creek project. Now this project is, for what we see with Coda Minerals, they have copper and cobalt in Elizabeth Creek, which is that joint venture project. This is 100 kilometres south of BHP's famous Olympic Dam that has copper, gold and uranium, and 50 kilometres west of Oz Minerals' copper gold mine. And then there's also the Cameron River project that they have copper gold project with base metals, uranium and rare earths. We're focusing on Elizabeth Creek for this announcement. When we know Torrens, they have the same project that they're a joint venture on, as well as their own Victorian gold mines. So this project, if we go to the chairman, Keith Jones, he says, "We have long known that we are exploring in elephant country. A view backed up not by only world-class projects which surround us," he's referring to BHP and Oz Minerals projects, "but also a historical and geophysical evidence in the IOCG system in the northern part of the tenure." So we're remembering we're 100 kilometres south of BHP's Olympic Dam, so we're working towards the north end of that, brings them into that northern part of their tenure. "Given that we knew the enormous potential in our future, it is still tremendously exciting for our first deep exploration hole at Elizabeth Creek to have intersected evidence of a major IOCG system existing in our ground. This is the first drill-backed evidence obtained by Coda to support the IOCG exploration model. We are looking forward to exploring the significant potential of this mineralised system." These are the results that they've come through and announced, and we do see that that coincides with the breakout that they've had here. This is TRN, but you do see the timing of that, the 9th of June when it broke out, and then COD, we'll see the chart here as well. Since then, COD have also announced, so we're talking about Biden's clean energy, we're getting more commentary around there. We're seeing they're following up their underwire, so more drilling results, corporate presentation, going into a trading halt. And they're following that up with a 14.4 million fast-track exploration capital raise. So that's what they've raised the money for, to sort of fast-track this, bring this to market faster. And then more and more updates as we're seeing that flood through and keep investors informed, which is exactly what we want to be seeing when they're having these drill results and such an exciting movement. And they've raised capital. You want to be keeping those investors informed. So they've been the best performers over the last month. We bring this out over the quarterly perspective to put this into sort of context of how we've seen it move. Cobalt's down 13.7%. We've got the leaders, Coda 129%, Enegex 104, QPM 54, Torrens Mining 46, Platina 37, and then Australian Mines 16. Where this huge movement comes from is that you want to have a look at this over the yearly, because the quarter has seen the dip that we've seen. They do have solid movements. We've got 237% from Queensland Pacific, Enegex 265. They are definitely the best movers. These are the top cobalt miners on the ASX for this month. Thank you very much for watching. Like the video to support the channel, click subscribe for updates, and comment below to let us know which cobalt miners you're trading.